going to go ahead and dive into some stuff. And before I go to the board, like I always do, and start drawing stuff out and start making the mind go 100 miles a minute, I'm going to ask a question. And I want you to pull up the chat box. So pull it up and get ready to type your answer in on this. And the question that I have for you guys is, would you rather be the best real estate expert or the best known real estate expert? Would you rather be the best, A, or the best known? Put it in the chat. Okay, so we got a couple answers coming in. I'll let some of you guys get yours in there, but we've got Sal. Sal said the best. Lorraine saying the best. Lauren the best. Tony the best known. Oh, sorry. Some of you guys are saying best known, not the best. Sal said the best. Lorraine says best known. Lauren says best known. Tony says best known. Jordan's be the best. Eric best. Going with best known, best. So it's kind of a mix. Marty, what did you put here? Best known. But on the good side, best known due to bad issues is not good. I agree, right? There's a difference between best known from negative and best known from positive. But the reason I asked this question is being the best at something, right? Let's step out of real estate for a really quick second here. And let's go to, I don't know, Olympic swimming, for example, or just swimming in general, right? Not the Olympics just yet, but just swimming in general. What if Michael Phelps was the best swimmer ever, but nobody knew the name Michael Phelps? Let's sink in for a second. Michael Phelps, best swimmer, right? He's the best. There's no arguing that. But what if nobody knew who Michael Phelps was? How far would a Michael Phelps get? Being the best swimmer, nobody really knew him. Unmute. You guys can unmute and engage. You guys know this. But unmute and tell me, what do you think? How difficult would it be for a Michael Phelps to get to where he's at now if he didn't get known?
He'd get no endorsements, therefore he would not have enough money probably to do the training he needed to get gold medals, or after he won the gold medals, wouldn't win gold medals, but if nobody knew him, he wouldn't get the endorsements to propel his career monetarily.
Interesting take. Anybody else?
Or even just to piggyback on Lauren, like he might not even get the opportunity to try out for the Olympics or get in the awareness of people who could propel him to that level. So he's the best, but to himself, nobody else knows.
I could agree with that. Anybody else? Anybody have a different take on it? No? Looked like Jordan was going for the mute button.
I mean, if you're the best, people are going to find out. That was my thought process.
I would agree. Is it going to be more difficult if there wasn't any focus on getting known?
I think to Jordan's point, I mean, if you're the best, people are going to find out about it eventually. And then, by the time they find out, your opportunity has passed. The Olympics has passed. But yeah, you're still the best. Congratulations. But I mean, it's not getting you there in the time in which you could actually not monetize, but take advantage of your bestness, if that makes sense.
I agree. And I think the word that you used is the perfect word there, eventually, right? Being the best at something, we will eventually get discovered for that, get noticed. You will eventually get some opportunities, right? That kind of stuff. And I'm not discounting ever being the best at something. Right? I'm not saying don't strive to be the best. But there's a lot more power, and it's a lot easier to become the best known which opens up a lot of doors very quickly. Could we agree with that? There's other swimmers, staying in that lane for a second, there's other swimmers that were around the Michael Phelps that because of him, they became really well known. I'm thinking back to some of his last gold medal, that relay team was insane. None of those guys' names would ever have been known if it wasn't for Michael Phelps, right? But because of him, they became really well known, and they've gone on to have, amazing careers post swimming. Some of them may even still be swimming, and it's tied back to that, and it's opened big opportunities simply because they became known, right? Were they the best? No, they were part of the best at that time, but we couldn't say that those guys were better than Michael Phelps in the overarching thing, right? So the reason I bring this up is because in a very crowded marketplace, right? Real estate is a very crowded environment. Unless somebody on here doesn't feel like they have any competition in their market and they're the only ones that do this, then I think everybody's going to flock to that market because it's just taking candy from kids to do deals. It's safe to say, as real estate experts, as real estate investors, as real estate agents, it's crowded, right? So to try to just rely on the fact that, well, I'm the better one, I'm the best in this market, I know more than Jordan, or I know more than Sal, or I know more than Lorraine, therefore I'm better, that's why you should choose me. Will we get some deals? Will we get some opportunities? Sure. But what if we were the best known? What if anybody had a real estate situation going on, if they mentioned it to anybody in your marketplace, the first words that came out of their mouth was, you need to talk to Jordan at Building Appalachia. You need to talk to Lorraine at Melanin Homes. You guys need to go to Chris and Sal. They're the probate experts in Houston with Ohana Legacy. How many more opportunities start to flow?
Well, you get a lot more opportunities than you have to perform, but you still get the opportunities.
Absolutely. And what do you think's easier, being the best or becoming best known? What do you have more control over?
Best known.
Best known. Best known is just, it's what we teach, right? It's just marketing. It's just information. It's just being out there. To be the best, I got to put in a lot of work. I got to train. I got to get educated. I got to knowledge. I got to stay in front of things. I got to constantly refresh, right? It takes a lot of work to be the best, to be able to say the best, right? But it doesn't take near as much work to become the best known, which is going to get you to that path of eventually being one of the best real estate people in your area.
It takes I think by culture, you always want to be the best, irregardless of what you do. And I think that's why, at least I picked that, I selected that, because that's what you always strive for. But in reality, being best known will get you a lot more opportunities.
And it's not just that it gets you more opportunities, Sal. It gives you more opportunities to showcase that you really are the best, right? And it goes back to, I forget who it was that said it. I think it was Marty. He was like, hey, I want to be best known, but it better be for good stuff, not bad stuff, right? Because just as quickly as we can become best known as the go-to, right? The good guy, we just as fast, if not probably quicker, could be known as the best known for don't go near them, right? Not very good. So we have to be careful of that, but that just goes back to business 101. If you operate shady, you're not going to be in business very long, because you will become best known for shady crap very quickly, right? And it's not that we're going to necessarily dive completely into being like, how do you become best known? There's no way of just teaching that. It's everything that we talk about. But I wanted to get you guys' mind opened up here a little bit on that before we kind of dive into a couple things. And I've got a lot that I really want to get into today. I don't know if I'm going to get it all in. I'm going to try to go pretty quickly. if for some reason I'm going too fast, unmute, yell at me, whatever the case. Hey, let's chill it and go deeper into this kind of thing here. But I want to start really quickly on a couple ways that you can become best known in a good way. Really quick out of the gate is if you really understand two components, and I'm going to skip to number 2 before I come back to number 1. Okay. And number 2 is the people, right? In this case, sellers. We'll stick to just the sellers. Obviously, this works if you're targeting private investors. This works if you're targeting a contractor. If you're targeting, if you wholesale is your predominant focus and you're going after other real estate investors, just replace the person at the end of this. But I'm going to use the analogy around a seller. In this case, your seller is really on a journey of 2 points. Point number 1 over here, this starting end, they are on the journey of where they're not ready just yet, right? Down here, they are not ready just yet. And they've got to go on this journey from not ready to being ready. Everybody's different on how long this journey from not ready to ready can take, right? Lauren might be able to go from not ready to ready in a matter of a week, not even close to being true. Or she could go from not ready to ready in a few months, right? But every person that we deal with, and in our sellers, they have to go from not ready to ready. Not ready to take an action, ready to take an action. Not ready to sell you my house, ready to sell you my house. Not ready to even talk to you about selling my house, to ready to talk to you about selling my house. Thumbs up if we're tracking here. And there's one critical thing that transforms them from not ready to ready. And who thinks they have a guess at what that might be? Anybody have a guess with it's one simple
Trust.
Trust moves them there, but there's something that we have to give or do that builds the trust.
Confidence.
Confidence is a piece of trust.
Sometimes they need to be ready to do the transaction, or in other words,
Motivation.
Provide value beyond the others.
Sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to interrupt
go
you.
deeper, Lauren.
It just came to my mind.
You have to provide more value than your competition. Why would they want to work with you? All things being equal, no like trust, you have to provide more value.
So how do we provide value?
More services.
It's not by giving them more shiny objects. What am I doing today? What is
Provide
this?
more services in the way that what do they want and need? Give them what they want and need.
That will come in time. What am I doing today? What is this? What am I doing right now?
Educating.
You have to build a relationship,
Educating.
build a connection. You have to build a connection.
Educating.
We build the connection through educating, which is not a simple way of saying educate is information.
Or sharing expertise.
Right? Information is what takes them from not ready to ready. Think about the last time you impulse bought something or impulse did something. Not under the influence of, adult beverages or something like that. Because we've all done the dumb adult beverage in, quick action, not thinking moments. But step back for a second and think about when's the last time you made a major decision like a seller is trying to deal with on selling their home. When's the last time you did that impulsed? For the most part, we all could say no to that, right? We've looked something up, we've read reviews, we've dug deeper into the research around it, we checked out websites, we read content on this, we read a bunch of blog posts on it, we watched videos over on YouTube, right? Some of you guys here on this call right now today didn't impulse decision decide to work with REI Toolbox. You talked to other people, you got recommendations, you checked our website out, you got on a call with me or Roger, you talked to us a little bit, maybe you came to an event, right? And through that information gathering that you mentally were doing, it took you from not ready to ready. Do we understand this so far? Quick thumbs up. This is like Barney style marketing 101 discussion here. But it's the basis of everything. Every person that you encounter throughout your business and how you become best known is when you get really good at this. If you are really good at getting value-based information out there, to some of the other comments that came out from Lauren, Lorraine, Nicole, a couple of you guys that were shouting them out, you become known, you become liked, you become trusted, your name becomes the first thing at the top of their mind, right? You get things like, hey, at the end of the day, they at least will give you a bunch of valuable information that you can go and do something else with. If you want to become best known, it starts by understanding how to deliver valuable information that takes you to that podium spot that, you know what? Yes, there is a lot of other real estate experts in this market. There are a lot of quote unquote real estate investors. I hate using that phrase. That's why I use real estate expert a lot, because I don't associate with real estate investors. I associate with real estate experts. You see the difference? Real estate expert, I'm a little bit better known than just the everyday real estate investor, right? All good with this? Thumbs up? Anybody got questions on this? Okay, so backtracking to number one, to deliver really good information, we have to stop and ask ourselves first, saying, who is hearing me? Who is listening to me? Who is seeing me? Me doesn't equal necessarily me personally. Me could be the brand, right? But we have to stop and ask ourselves, who is hearing me, listening to me, seeing me? Who is my avatar? Who is my audience? Not just, oh, okay, my avatar, my audience is sellers that want to sell their house, not with real estate agents. Sal, I'm going to put you on the spot just because I know you've got this dialed in. Who is your avatar?
Family member that has passed away, has a house, they don't know what to do with all the stuff in it, they're very confused, overwhelmed, and need assistance.
Is that pretty clear? And I know for some of you guys, you've been around for a little while, you've heard me like beat this one into the ground. Avatar, avatar, avatar. We've got the avatar worksheet. It's in the Facebook group. If you can't find it, ask in there. We'll tag you in it and get you to it. But I keep beating it to death because why? Why is the avatar so important?
Because you can't hit a target. Sorry, Shawn.
Go for it.
Jumping in. So I was just thinking about this because Sal and Chris's tactical decision was really inspiring, and it really got me thinking. You can't hit a target that you don't have. You know, and to be honest, I was thinking with the whole, you know, concept of there being a lot of investors in the mix, and how do we separate ourselves? What's our unique seller proposition? That made me kind of come to the conclusion that it could be being the expert, or, you know, marketing, that you are the expert in that specific field, or that, not field, but, you know, and working with that avatar. But it really just kind of specializing in that, it really like kind of made it clear that, you know, like we were talking about with PPC ads and kind of pointing your nozzle, you're not going in a direction, you're not pointing towards anything. And so that was just my take of why the target's important.
Let's see how you guys do with this. Home seller. Let's say that's who we're talking to. Home seller. Shout out, what are some pieces of information that you could give a home seller, a seller of a home?
Options to avoid pre-foreclosure.
Okay, so
Sorry, I went specific there.
no, that's good. So options to avoid pre-foreclosure. What else?
How to get them out fast.
What else?
How we can help them specifically in our business, how we can work with them.
Anything else?
Different finance options.
Moving resources.
Moving. What else?
Like staging, or like sprucing up their place comes to mind.
Stage. What else?
Did someone put different kind of financing? Yeah, I think someone mentioned that.
Other resources, whether it's a realtor or a lawyer or title company, etc.
Okay. What if who we're talking to, what if our avatar is somebody with code violation? What kind of information can we put in front of them?
Well, it's a lot more specific, you know, how to get the code violation taken care of, who can they go to get it repaired,
remove it,
how to avoid the fines, you know, that kind of stuff, how to clear your property name, quote unquote.
So clear your name. What else? These are all good ones though. Fines, repairs.
I guess
What else?
abatement falls in that category.
Yeah, abatement. What else?
It just gets a lot more specific, I think.
Any other ideas? We'll do one more.
Oh, never mind.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say contact the person that did the violation. Because
So
don't they have to
how
submit
they
something?
could contact the code enforcer?
Yeah,
You want to stalk them?
Yeah, maybe they're looking to figure out, how do I even contact this person, right? And we could have information out there on that, right? All right, somebody shout it out. Give me a very specific type of seller. Could even be one that you're going after. This is your chance to get like direct coaching here.
Tax delinquent.
Tax delinquent. I like it. We got tax delinquent sellers. What kind of information can we put out there?
Like different ways of like how to go through a short sale, I guess. Different options for different types of contracts.
I don't know if we'd go short sale because it's tax.
Copy.
Come on, Lorraine, I'm waiting for you.
I was gonna say something about notes.
Well, their tax, think it's the seller, right? We're talking to the seller here who's delinquent on their taxes.
Right. So, I mean, the tax lien would be ahead of the mortgage. So if I was interested in purchasing the note, I'm going to probably pay off the tax lien more likely than not so that I can protect my interest in the note or the debt on the house. So I would introduce them to some note buyers who would be willing, but then you said that they're looking to sell?
This is our avatar, right? Tax delinquent individual. What do you think that tax delinquent individual, what kind of information are they looking for?
The auction dates, they can bid on their own, they can bid on their own lien.
That's actually interesting.
They can.
But the lay person wouldn't really know that. That's great information.
That's why
Yeah.
we're here, to tell
Yeah.
them.
What else? Do they have some options that they could do when they're behind on taxes?
Maybe how to call the dogs off. I mean, yeah.
Dogs off?
You can work something out with the county because they're really only doing the lien. It depends on how delinquent they are. Because if they're delinquent like 3 years, maybe just pay off the first year so that that lien goes away and then.
Don't get too deep into it. Don't think, what exactly am I saying? Right now
Okay.
we're staying surface. What information do I think tax delinquent individuals need? Want?
You get
are
them,
stressing
Lorraine.
about. But so,
Sick them, sick 'em.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm like, "Eh."
I know. I know.
Tony, you got something?
I was gonna say how not to lose everything, or how you can at least get back some of your equity.
Yeah, maybe bankruptcy attorneys.
Or credit repair.
Yeah, that too.
You probably need to be pro bono because they probably couldn't afford it.
You know, we're not judging right now, right?
But
We're
I mean, it's
thinking.
just to give them information, like, hey, it's an option, or
Anything else on this one? I mean, obviously we can go for a while, and I would encourage you to go really deep if this was your person and start to think. But what I want you to think back for a second here now is, how much more specific were these two, tax delinquent, code violation, right? How much more specific were we with our thoughts on information compared to when I just said, hey, your avatar is a home seller.
Right.
And I said,
Much
what do they
more
need?
specific.
What information do you need to give them? Like, this one's all over the map. We're talking about moving resources, financing opportunities, how to get out fast, how we help, how to stage the property, because we're kind of clueless as to what really do they need to hear, right?
Well, the second two are probably a little more desperate too. They
Oh.
they have stress on
Yeah,
them.
I don't care if it's desperation from stress, or what if here, let's get out of real estate for one quick second. New dog owner. I'm a new dog owner. What information do I need? I'm a first-time new dog owner.
potty training information for sure. The
Food.
wee pads.
How much do you feed them?
Right.
Feed.
The shots, like vet recommendations to get the booster shots and all that.
Vet.
How
These are all
to get
great
them to
things,
open the
right?
fridge for a beer? No.
How often do you have to walk them?
Yeah, walk the dog.
That's easy for me. I
Grooming?
have no idea what to do with the damn
Depending
dog.
on what the breed of the dog, what kind of grooming it needs.
Correct. Who's starting to see what's going on here? Now, Sal, you said these had more desperation. I'm a first-time dog owner. I'm not really desperate. This is my first rodeo with this thing, right? Get stupid crazy with it. New baby.
Oh,
You know, I'm a brand new father, first time father, brand new baby. I've never done this before. It's not that I'm in desperation and I'm stressed and I've got the world collapsing on me. This is the joyous time of my life, right? But if I gave you 30 seconds to a minute to shoot out a bunch of stuff for new baby, we could probably figure that one out, just like we figured out the first time dog owner. But what's the difference between these topics here and the first one that I said where I went stupid broad and just said home seller?
You've narrowed down your avatar.
It wasn't
Be
precise.
more targeted in your marketing.
And we're speaking to this, we're speaking to the avatar more
100%.
effectively.
100%. So this is why I said that you want to get really known, you want to become the best known, it's all about being really good at delivering this, being able to put information out there. But it's not just information, it's avatar specific information. And when you can put out avatar specific information like clockwork, it doesn't take very long before you become very well known.
Shawn, just to expand on that real quick, one of the deals that we talked to you about on the podcast, the deal didn't go through because the house was really in shambles, but he had an offer from a REI online buyer that was a little higher. And I said, take the money and run. I said, but look, I know we're not doing the deal, but let me give you some information. And I just explained to him how these people operate. And I said, when you get the contract, I'm not going to get into it, but I said, be careful with this and be careful with that. If you have any questions, just get back with me. But, you know, don't get pushed around with this, because this is what's going to happen. And I said, I wish you good luck and take care. At least we gave him some more information, and who knows down the line, if I told you how I got this lead, you wouldn't believe it anyway. But he may refer that to someone else who may call. Okay, say, hey, these guys know what they're talking about.
It's starting to make sense here. It's the wheels starting to spin a little bit, right? Now, this is all a big buildup to, I posted something. Do I have it still on my board? No, so I'll draw it again. I posted something in the Facebook group yesterday, a photo that looked something like this. Who remembers seeing this? This photo that I posted yesterday, it was a little bit more filled out than this one. Had some boxes. Does anybody know what I've got here? My folks that have been around for a little while, this should look familiar. Try to darken that up a little bit for you.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see. It looks like your avatar sheet, though.
Exactly, not the avatar sheet, not the avatar worksheet.
Your workflow? Is that it? I can't even really
Like
see
your
it.
funnel? Is that like the steps of the funnel?
Here, I didn't have it zoomed in enough when I drew it and I'll run out of space. Is that better?
Yes. Better seeing it anyway.
So we had these. My folks have been around for a while. This should start to make some light bulbs go back off. Who remembers the customer journey?
Mhm.
And there's
Yeah,
three
workflow.
pivotal stages at the very beginning of the journey. Do we remember this? Or do I need to go deep into this one?
Half deep, just as
Half
a
deep?
reminder.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know there's
just
some
like,
new
you know.
folks on here, so the
First one
customer
is
journey.
awareness.
Awareness and
There we go. It's starting to come
Yes,
back.
Awareness.
create awareness.
Then next one,
Starting to come back,
engagement.
right? So just like I said over here, everybody has to go through this period of not ready to ready, right? And it's information that drags them through this. Well, the information that they're gathering or during that phase of not ready to ready is actually happening right here in these three initial steps, right? And Sal, what was step number one?
Awareness.
Awareness. They have to become aware that you even exist before they can do anything, right? This is why I say being best known outperforms being the best every day of the week. Because if I am the best known, that means a lot of people are what?
Listening to you.
Aware.
Aware.
They're just aware of me, right? That's the first stage in this whole thing. Once they become aware of me, what's the next thing that they do? What's stage number two? Lorraine, let's see if you remember. Or Mickey. you two.
engagement.
Engage. There it is.
You see, no faith.
I was just either one of you two, because you guys have been around for quite some time. And then Jordan, once they start to engage with me, what's the next thing that I'm looking for them to do? What's number three?
Interact.
That's the engagement, right? Engagement. Another way of saying engage is interact. That could be through Facebook. That could be through reading my blogs, looking at a website, that kind of crap.
Taking action.
Action. I'll give that to you. We want them to subscribe to us. All right. In my book, Marketing is Like Dating, I refer to this as I just spotted this person. Right? Just spotted this person. Let me tell you the story of Deanna and I. We were in a canyon, and there was a group of all ladies in front of us, and I was jumping around off this cliff into these little pools of water in this granite, memorable place. And I just happened to look over, and it was like a glowing light all around Deanna. I just became aware of her, right? I just became aware that she even existed on this planet. Now, throughout the course of the day, different random stops, we got bottled up. We were waiting to get on different rappels, or we were jumping and we kind of intermixed with their group or whatever. I said hi to her a little bit. We chatted. And then eventually at the end of the day, I stabbed the hell out of her pink flamingo and, exploded this thing and everything because she was having a hard time putting it in her bag. All we were doing was engaging at that time. The next morning, I saw her at breakfast in town, and I said hi to her. And at some point in our conversation before I left, we decided to follow each other, friend each other on Facebook, and send some Facebook messages back and forth to each other, right? We'd moved to this phase at that point. We subscribed to each other, right? Not lifetime, just, hey, I finally subscribed by friending you and sending you a Facebook message, right? When I met her the day before, was she ready for that? Or was I ready for that? No. Information through my engagement phase, this is where the information comes in. The information, AKA the conversations that we were having, led me to decide that I was ready. I was ready to continue talking more with her after leaving that weekend, right? So we needed to subscribe. We needed to exchange a way of communicating again. In business, they become aware of you. Their engagement with you could be they look at a Facebook post, an Instagram post, watch a TikTok reel. They read a blog article, most likely, that you've got out there on the internet. They watch some of your YouTube videos. They listen to a podcast episode that you're doing. They open the letter and read the letter that you mailed them. They look at the postcard that you got in their mailbox and sent them, right? That's just, they're just engaging with your brand. Maybe they comment, maybe they don't. Maybe they answer back, maybe they don't. They read your text messages, these type of things, right? And at some point, they now decide that, yes, I am ready to whatever. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to move to the next step, whatever the case is, and they subscribe. That could be filling out the form on your website. That could be clicking an ad and going to another page. That could be picking up the phone and calling you. That could be sending you a direct message through Google Business Profile, through your social platforms, right? They finally have now subscribed because they've exchanged something with you. Their contact information, something, right? We all tracking here. That first diagram is really this right here. They're not ready, now they're ready. And I joke about it and I say that this right here is the point when you set up your first date. The second they subscribed, if we go dating for a second, it's when I'm finally setting up my first date. Lorraine finally said, sure, Shawn, let's sit down and have some coffee. Let's grab some breakfast, right? Let's continue to talk here a little bit. Are they ready to do business with me just yet? No. They're just saying, okay, let's take this one more step, right? But it took them going from not ready to ready in the form of information gathering, which helps build the know, like, and trust factor, all the stuff that you guys said, which is 100% correct, to get them here. And at this point, they are now a true lead in our business. They were not a lead until they became subscribed to us. Does that make sense? Now there's a big pivotal piece up here, and we're not going to go into it today, but I just draw the rest of this picture out for you. There's a crucial period of time right here between stages 4 and 5, because 5 is actually the wedding. 5 is actually we're getting married. 5 is we're actually doing business with each other.
Lorraine, you said yes?
Yeah, Lorraine finally said yes to Shawn. And we can go from where we went on our first date. Now, this pivotal period, this is a lot of dates, right? A lot of dates, a lot of weekend getaways, a lot of fun adventures, a lot of, you know, this period right here for Deanna and I, hell, it's 4+ years right now, folks. 4+ years.
When are you going to ask the question?
This is recorded. Don't put me on the spot like that.
That's right, Marie. That's right.
Now, in business, that period right there, those dates, that's the time that you're out looking at the house. That's the time that you're sitting down at the table and going over options. That's the time that you're presenting the offer. That's the time that you're negotiating the offer. That's the time that you're, you know, dealing with all of their concerns and questions and all the other crap, right? For them to finally say, yes, let's go ahead, Sal. I want to marry Ohana Legacy Properties. I want to actually sign this contract and do business with you guys. And then there's a whole other period behind that. And I don't want to confuse you guys too much, but do you see how much goes into getting somebody from right here to where we ultimately want them? And that's signing a contract and doing business with us. The problem is too many real estate individuals focus more on trying to go from here to here, ignoring all the other stuff. And it works some of the time. 1%, 2%, 3%. We can take them straight from meeting them to the, you know, the golden goose, right? But 97, 98, 99% of the time, the only reason they're not ready to go right there yet is they're not ready and they need information to get them there. And if you shift your focus to just paying attention to this, am I putting out enough information to be known? And if the answer to that question is no, then it's hands down the reason why people aren't working with you. It has nothing to do with the numbers don't jive, the market's too saturated, there's too much competition. They just don't, there's not enough people that know you to do the level of business you want to do. We good with this? I want to go deeper, but I'm gonna have to save it for, because we're coming up on that hour mark. I want to get deeper into this. If you guys actually want that though. I need to hear from you guys. Is this good? Is this where you want to go? Is this starting to resonate? Who's got questions around this? And should we take it a step deeper here?
Mhm.
I'm gonna, the last
Absolutely.
6-7 minutes that we have here, I want to open it up to questions and or ahas that you're having and go from there. So whoever's got something, feel free, unmute. Somebody was just talking to me. I don't know who it was, but you shut up. Now you can come back.
I feel like the unique seller proposition could be, you know, that you're an expert in that, you know, that area. So like, 'cause without that, we all have the same proposition. You know, we buy houses fast, we close fast, we're cash, and we can try to separate ourselves, you know, through different things. But I actually was kind of thinking, man, to specialize, that could be the way you separate yourself and shoot to the top of those rankings like Sal and Chris did.
Who else? Anybody got questions? Anybody got comments, ahas, anything? Good, Lorraine.
This is really, well, it's always good timing, but I literally this week had a conversation relating to narrowing down a niche within the tax space. Because in my mind, like, I'm like, okay, small businesses, new entrepreneurs, that's where I want to focus. But even that in itself is a little too broad. Like, what industries would I want to focus on and all of that? Because I would want to be known as the person to go to for X. Like, I think I've done and continuing to do pretty good with that in the note space, and just kind of mapping that across to the taxes and really narrowing down a niche within that space as well. So this is really helpful.
It's an interesting point you bring up. Go back to this here for a second.
You can't see it.
First time new dog owner, right? We went through that one. What if I said 2-dog owner? Is there different information now?
Yes.
What
It
is
depends
this?
if you're getting them at the same time or one at a time.
Or if they're different breeds, different kinds of dog.
But what is this that I just did? Lorraine just said it. The niche or the niche, however you want to say it, is really dog owner, right? Dog owners. But if I was building a business in the dog owner world, and I said, hey, I want to specialize in people that are 2 or more dog owners, I don't want to deal with the first time dog owner, did I just niche down inside of the niche?
Yep.
It's very powerful when you can get that granular.
Mm-hmm.
Niching inside of a niche is probably the fastest way to explode. It's the one thing that I've said for years on why most real estate investors never actually create the freedom that they want to create, because they're too afraid to even niche down, let alone double niche. Our property management company, 2014 to 2019, it erupted simply because we did this right here. We went to 2 dog owners. Not necessarily, but you see what I'm saying here. We went to the point to where we only focused on 3-bedroom, 1-bath slab houses in X type neighborhoods at X prices that are designed specifically for this type of tenant. We became known as the go-to company if you fit that mold, whether you were a renter or a homeowner needing to liquidate the house. We became known as the company that can just gobble all that stuff up, help you out, take care of it. We had hundreds and hundreds of renters waiting to get into our properties. Why? Because we designed the company specific to them. Look at REI Toolbox. Who is the niche of REI Toolbox?
Real estate investors.
Go
Or
deeper.
real
than
estate
that.
experts, I guess.
Go deeper than that. It's not just surface level real estate investors.
High producing?
Not yet.
Well, that's, you're going after the ones that want to be high producing, I guess.
There we go. There we go. Do we have clients that are high producers doing 20, 30 plus deals a month? Absolutely. We have them. But if you really look at, like really study, I teach you guys exactly what we do. If you really study the model, everything that we design, everything that we put focus to, this whole version 2.0 that Roger and the team are just going nuts behind the scenes developing, has nothing to do with the Shawn that was the company owner over here that had 25 rehabs happening at one time. Everything that we focus on is on the real estate investor that's trying to get this ball rolling and wants something more. Not the hobbyist, not the tire kicker, not the one that just has a pretty plethora, self-directed IRA and is enjoying retirement and just dabbling here and there. I love those individuals and I love the other ones too. It's a niche inside of a niche, right? And it becomes really easy to become known as the best person when you're that granular. Is this making sense? That's how I got asked to speak at the LA convention coming up in October. There's going to be like 1,800 people at this thing. I'm one of 12 speakers. Why? Because everybody that goes to that event is brand new investors. Sal, Chris, it was the slight tweak that they made. And I keep using them as the example because they show up all the time and they just, the podcast is coming out, folks. You're going to get to hear last week's recording if you haven't watched it already. But Sal, that was the one tweak that you guys made. You changed a word. At the end of the day, they changed a word and it completely changed the image of Ohana Legacy Properties. So I know we're at the top of the hour. Has anybody got any final thoughts before I start to wrap us up?
I think you got everybody's wheels spinning here, Shawn.
Sounds like it.